Maya had always been a quite thoughtful girl. Her family had just moved to a new town, and this meant starting fresh to a new school. Sandalay Primary School was a large and familiar to her. On her first morning, she stood outside the gate, feeling her heart pounding in her chest. She clenched her book tightly, trying to calm the butterflies in her stomach. As she walked into the school, she could feel all eyes on her, and the whispers started almost immediately. When she finally entered her new classroom, the teacher, Mrs. Rose, smiled warmly at her. "Class, I would like you to all meet Maya. She's new here, so let's be all welcoming and kind," Mrs. Rose said in a cheerful voice. Maya gave a small wave, barely lifting her hand. The room felt silent for a moment, and Maya felt her cheeks burning as she scanned the room, finding a place to sit. Finally, she spotted an empty desk in the middle of the room and quickly made her way there, trying to avoid the stares from her new classmates. As she sat down, Maya breathed in a sigh relief, hoping to blend into the background. But the relief didn't last long. She overheard hushed voices. It was impossible not to notice that some of the students were already talking about her. Maya's heart sank. This was not the way she had hoped for the first day would go. All she wanted was to fit in, but it seems like she was already standing out for all the wrong reasons. As the day went on, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that everyone was staring at her. She tried to focus on her lessons, but it was hard to concentrate with the whispers behind her. Every time she turned around, the other students would quickly look away, pretending they weren't talking about her, but Maya could bear bits and pieces of their conversations. Lunchtime came, and Maya hoped things would get better. She made her way to the dining hall, hoping to find a quiet place to sit. But as she walked in, the noise and laughter seemed even louder. Everyone was sitting with their friends, talking and enjoying their meals. Maya stood awkwardly at the entrance, tray in her hand, looking for a spot to sit. She spotted a table with few empty seats and cautiously made her way over. Just as she was about to sit down, a girl with curly hair and a smug smile slid into the seat. "Sorry, it's taken," the girl said, not even looking at Maya. The rest of the table were already taken, and Maya felt her heart dropped. She quickly backed away, feeling like a fool. At the center of the noise and laughter was Sasha, a tall, confident girl who seemed to rule the school. Everyone in the dining hall gravitated towards her, eager for her attention. She was always surrounded by a group of royal friends who hung on her every word. Sasha was known for her sharp tongue and quick wit, and nobody dared to cross her. If you wanted to fit in at Sandalay Primary, you had to get Sasha's approval. But Sasha wasn't easy to impress, and Maya, the quite new girl, was an easy target for her. From her table, Sasha glanced over Maya, who was still standing awkwardly in the dining hall. "Look at the new girl," Sasha said loudly enough for everyone to hear, her voice filled with mockery. "She looks lost. Poor thing." The group around her burst into laughter, and Maya could feel their eyes on her. She quickly lowered her head, hoping to make herself invisible. She found a corner table far away from everyone else and sat down with her lunch. She poked at her food, but her appetite was gone. All she could think about was how she was going to survive for the rest of the day. From that moment on, it was clear that Sasha had decided Maya was her new target. Sasha's friends followed her lead, as they always did, and Maya found herself at the center of their cruel jokes and teasing. No matter where she went, it felt like Sasha and her group were always there, watching her and waiting for the perfect moment to mock her. The next few days were no better. Each time Maya tried to blend in, Sasha and her group found a way to single her out. In class, they passed notes about her, giggling behind her hands. During recesses, they made sure she felt unwelcome, standing in her way whenever she tries to join in any game. Maya quickly learned to keep her head down and avoid their attention as much as possible. But it didn't matter how hard she had tried to stay away from their way. They always find her there. One afternoon, during recess, Maya walked over to the swings, hoping to enjoy a quiet moment by herself. Just as she was about to sit down, Sasha and her group appeared out of nowhere. Sasha crossed her arms and blocked Maya's way. "Where do you think you're going?" Sasha asked, her voice dripping with Her friend stood behind her, smiling. "I just want to swing," Maya said quietly, trying not to sound afraid. Sasha raised an eyebrow and looked back at her friends before turning her gaze back to Maya. "Well, too bad. This is our spot. Go find somewhere else to play, loser." Maya stood there for a moment, unsure of what to do. She wanted to fight back, but the words couldn't come. Instead, she turned around and walked away, her heart heavy with frustration and sadness. She could hear the laughter behind her as she walked off, and took everything in her not to cry. Lunch had become Maya's least favorite part of the day. She hated walking into a crowded dining hall, knowing that she would have to face Sasha and her group again. Every day was the same. She would search for a place to sit, only to have Sasha and her friends take over the spot, forcing her to eat alone. One afternoon, Maya spotted a table near the window that seemed empty. She hurried over, eager to finally have a place to sit in peace. But as soon as she put her tray down, Sasha appeared out of nowhere, a cruel smile on her face. New girl? That seat is reserved for my new friend," Sasha said, motioning for one of her group members to sit down. Maya clenched her fists, trying to hold back her anger. "There are plenty of rooms," she said quietly, her voice shaking. Sasha leaned in closer, her eyes cold. "You don't belong here. Go eat somewhere else." Maya picked up her tray, her face flushed with embarrassment. She walked to the farthest corner of the dining hall, sitting down on an empty table by herself. She could hear Sasha and her friends laughing from across of the room. For the first time, Maya felt something shift inside her. She was tired of being the target, tired of feeling powerless. Something had to change. That night, Maya laid in her bed, staring at the ceiling. The words of Sasha and her friends echoed in her head, making it possible to sleep. No matter how hard she tried, Maya couldn't understand why Sasha was so cruel. She hadn't done anything to deserve the constant bullying. All she wanted was to fit in, make friends, and be happy like any other kid at school. But Sasha had made that impossible. As Maya tossed and turned, her frustration grew. She was tired of crying and tired of feeling small. Suddenly, an idea began to form in her mind. She thought about how Sasha always acted like she was better than everyone else. How her group friends followed her lead like she was one kind of a queen. It wasn't fair. Maya knew she wouldn't change Sasha, but maybe she could stand up for herself in a way that could make Sasha think twice about bullying her again. For the first time since she started at Sandale Primary, Maya felt a sense of determination. She wasn't sure exactly how she was going to do it, but one thing she was clear, Sasha wasn't going to win this battle. She decided right then that she was going to get her revenge. The next day, Maya walked into school with a new sense of purpose. She knew that if she wanted to stand up to Sasha, she needed to be strong. She wouldn't let the fear of what others thought to stop her from being herself. As she walked down the hallway, she held her head little higher, refusing to shrink away from the stares of her classmates. When Sasha and her group spotted her, they started whispering and laughing just like they always did. But this time, Maya didn't lower her eyes or hurry past them. Instead, she walked straight ahead, ignoring their mocking voices. It wasn't easy, but Maya felt a small spark of confidence flaring inside her. She had taken the first step forward, standing up for herself. Later that day, during lunch, Maya noticed Sasha and her friends sitting at their usual table, gossiping and laughing loudly. Maya clenched her jaw, feeling the hunger bubble up inside her. She thought about how many times they had humiliated her, how they had made her feel worthless. But instead of letting hunger consume her, Maya made a decision. She wasn't going to let them control her anymore. Maya took a deep breath and walked over to an empty table by the window. This time, she didn't care if anyone sat with her. She opened her lunch and began to eat, ignoring the stares from the cross of the room. Sasha and her group were still whispering, but Maya refused to let it get to her. She had bigger plans now. Days passed while Sasha and her friends continued their bullying. Maya remained calm. She watched them carefully, learning their habits and their weaknesses. She noticed how Sasha always craved attention, how she liked being the center of everything. The more people talked about her, the happier she seemed. Maya realized that Sasha's power came from the way others admired her. But Maya also saw something else. Sasha wasn't strong as she seemed. Whenever things didn't go her way, she became frustrated. Maya could see that Sasha's confidence was fragile, like a mask she wore to hide her own insecurities. This gave Maya hope. If Sasha could be hurt by a smallest thing, then Maya knew there was a way she knocked her off her insecurities. Maya didn't know how and when, but she was sure that Sasha would slip up one day. And when that happened, Maya would be ready. Maya's patience finally paid off. One afternoon, during the class, Mrs. Rose asked the students to present the project they have been working on. Each student had to speak in front of the class, explaining what they had learned. Maya watched as Sasha walked up to in front of the room, her usual smug expression in the place. Sasha loved being in the spotlight, and Maya could tell she was enjoying the attention. As Sasha began her presentation, something unexpected happened. She stumbled over her words. For a brief moment, her confidence wavered. She glanced nervously at her friends who were watching her intently. The class fell silent, and Sasha's face turned red as she struggled to continue. Maya felt a surge of excitement for the first time. Sasha wasn't in control. The cracks in her perfect image were starting to show, and Maya knew this was her chance to strike, but she waited. She wasn't ready to take a move just yet. After class, Sasha's friends tried to cheer him up, but Maya could see the embarrassment in Sasha's eyes. It was a small victory, but it gave Maya a confidence she needed to continue her plans. One day, as Maya was sitting alone in the library, flipping through the pages of the book, she felt a tap on her shoulder. She looked up to see a girl standing in front of her, smiling shyly. Maya recognized her from the class, but she has never spoken to her before. "Hi, I'm Lily," the girl said softly, sitting down across from Maya. "I saw what happened with Sasha the other day. She's really mean to you, isn't she?" Maya was surprised by Lily's kindness. She had gotten too used to being alone that she hasn't expected anyone to approach her yet. "She is," Maya admitted, feeling a lump from her throat, "but I'm okay." Lily shook her head. "No, you're not. You don't deserve to be treated like that. I know how it feels. Sasha used to pick on me too, but I found a way to make it stop. Maya's eyes widened in surprise. Really? How? Lily leaned in closer, her voice barely above the whisper. You have to show her that she's not as powerful as she thinks. I can help you if you want. Maya stared at Lily for a moment, feeling a glimmer of hope. Maybe she didn't have to fight this battle alone. Maybe with Lily's help, she could finally take control of the situation. Okay, Maya said, her voice steady. Let's do it. With Lily by her side, Maya felt stronger than ever. The two girls spent the next few days carefully planning for their strategy. They knew that Sasha's power came from the way everyone admired her, and if they could find a way to expose her weakness, she could lose that power. Lily had already noticed few things about Sasha that could work to their advantage. Sasha hated being embarrassed in front of the others, and she couldn't stand it when things didn't go her way. Maya realized that if they could find a way to push Sasha out of her comfort zone, she might finally crack. One afternoon, during the recess, Maya and Lily put their plan into action. They spread the rumors that Sasha was afraid of spiders, something they had overheard her saying once in passing. The rumors spread like wildfire, and by the end of the day, everyone in school knew about it. When Sasha walked into the class the next morning, she met the whispers and giggles, confused as she glanced around, trying to figure out what was going on. But before she could say anything, one of her friends placed a plastic spider on her desk. Sasha let out a shriek, jumping back in horror. The class erupted into laughter for the first time. Sasha looked completely powerless. Her face turned bright red as she tried to regain her composure, but the damage had already been done. After the spider incident, things started to change at school. Sasha's grip on school began to weaken. Her friends, who had once followed her every move, were now questioning her authority. They still hung with her, but Maya could see that they were not as royal as they had been. Sasha, for her part, was struggling to keep her appearance. She tried to act like nothing changed, but Maya could see the cracks in her confidence. The power that Sasha had once held over the school was slipping away, and Maya couldn't help but feel the sense of satisfaction. But Maya knew this was only the beginning. Sasha had made her life miserable for too long, But Maya knew this was only the beginning. Sasha had made her life miserable for too long, and Maya wasn't ready to forgive her just yet. There was still more to come. The next phase of Maya and Lily's plan was modeling. They knew they had to strike when Sasha least expected, and they decided that the upcoming talent show would be the perfect opportunity. Maya had signed up to perform a dance routine, something she had been bragging about for weeks. She had spent hours rehearsing, confident that her performance would be the highlight of the show. But Maya and Lily had their plans. On the day of the talent show, Maya slipped into the dressing room where Sasha's costume was hanging. She carefully loosened a few threads of the outfit, making sure it would fall apart just the right moment. As Sasha took the stage, the audience clapped and cheered, eager to see her performance. She began her routine with her usual confidence, spinning and trickling across the stage. But as she reached in the middle of her dance, the thread of her costume began to unveil. At first, Sasha didn't notice, but as she continued to dance, the audience gasped in surprise. Sasha looked down and saw her costume falling apart, piece by piece. Her face turned pale with horror as she tried to hold her outfit together. But it was too late. The audience had seen it all. Sasha froze, completely humiliated. She stood in the middle of the stage, unable to move as the laughter grew louder and louder. Tears welled up in her eyes, and without finishing her routine, she ran off the stage, her face buried in her hands. Maya and Lily watched from the crowd, their hearts racing with excitement. They hadn't expected the plan to work so perfectly. Sasha had been completely embarrassed in front of the entire school, and for the first time, it was her who felt small, powerless, and humiliated. The day after the talent show, the entire school was buzzing with the talk about what happened to Sasha. Everywhere Maya went, students were gossiping about Sasha's costume disaster. Some felt bad for her, but most were laughing about how the queen of the school had finally been knocked down. Sasha didn't show up to school that day, and Maya couldn't help but feel a mixture of satisfaction and guilt. But the part of her was happy to see Sasha finally experiencing the pain she had caused so many others. But the other part of her was wondering if she had gone too far. Lily, on the other hand, was still excited. "We did it, Maya," she said, giving her friend a high five. Sasha finally got what she deserved. She never going to bother anyone again. Maya smiled, but inside she wasn't sure if she felt victorious as she had expected. She had wanted revenge, but now that she had had it, something felt off. She didn't feel as powerful or as happy as she thought she would be. What is going to happen next? After Sasha being humiliated to that extent? Watch out, part 2 is coming. Part 2 is coming, guys. Thank you so much for watching this far. Thank you so much for watching. If you've not yet subscribed to this channel, oh my god, kindly subscribe, share and like this video. Give a thumb up, leaving something in a comment section. Part 2 is coming, guys. This is an amazing story and we learned a lot out of this story. Bye bye. See you in our next part.